Imagine a world consumed by fire, cities erased from the map, libraries turned to ash, and rivers running red with the blood of millions. This wasn't the work of nature, but of man. 5,000 years of civilization gone in just a few decades. This is the story of how the Mongol Empire, led by the unstoppable Genghis Khan, unleashed one of the most terrifying forces the world had ever seen. A storm of steel and fire that swept across Asia and Europe, leaving only silence in its wake. The cold winds of Mongolia carried whispers of destiny across endless plains of grass and silence. A child named Temujin was born beneath a sky of steel, his cries blending with the howling storm. Hunger, betrayal, and survival sculpted his soul before he ever held a sword. The land was cruel, and so he learned cruelty early. Yet behind his fierce eyes burned a vision to unite what was forever broken. In his youth, Temujin's family was abandoned by their tribe, left to die in the wilderness. He scavenged roots and hunted rats while his enemies laughed at his misery. But fate has strange humor, and the boy who starved in the snow would one day make empires tremble. The steppe didn't give him mercy, it gave him purpose. And from that purpose rose a storm the world could never contain. The Mongol plains knew no kings, only survivors, but Temujin became something greater. He learned that unity was the sharpest weapon of all. When he called the tribes together, they didn't just follow a man, they followed destiny itself. From the heartbeat of the steppe, a conqueror was born, Genghis Khan. The tribes that once fought over scraps of land now stood beneath a single banner. Genghis Khan forged an army unlike any the world had ever seen. They were not just warriors, they were lightning on horseback, swift as death and just as silent. Every soldier knew his place, his purpose, his price. The world beyond Mongolia was vast, and Genghis intended to claim it. His warriors carried bows that could pierce armor and minds trained in discipline and deception. Their communication was flawless, their loyalty absolute. The Khan promised rewards to the brave and annihilation to traitors. He destroyed corruption and created merit, a new order forged in chaos. The Mongol machine began to move, and the earth trembled under its hooves. The great Khan's banner spread like wildfire, red silk against the horizon, promising both glory and doom. He told his men, "A man's greatest joy is to crush his enemies and hear the lamentations of their women." They believed him. The empire of blood had begun its march. In 1211, the Mongol thunder roared against China's mighty Jin dynasty. The walls of their cities towered, but Genghis had no fear of walls. His engineers built siege engines. His warriors circled the enemy like wolves. The Jin army outnumbered the Mongols, yet they fell, not to might, but to fear. Fear spread faster than arrows. For years, the Mongols waged war across the northern plains. Villages vanished, cities burned. From Zhengdu, the ancient capital, smoke rose to the heavens. Thousands died by sword, by fire, or by starvation. The Mongols left behind not victory, but silence. The kind of silence that echoes forever. When the dust settled, northern China belonged to Genghis Khan. The Jin dynasty, once powerful and proud, was broken. And as Genghis looked south toward more cities, more people, more glory, he smiled. His empire had only just begun. After China's fall, Genghis turned his gaze west, toward Persia, toward the Khwarazmian Empire. Its sultan had mocked the Khan's trade envoy, killing his ambassadors and humiliating his merchants. That was a mistake. Genghis didn't forgive insults. He unleashed his fury like a plague of locusts. City after city fell beneath the Mongol wave. The sultan's armies scattered. His people were slaughtered. Rivers ran red, and skulls piled into pyramids outside city gates. The Mongols didn't just conquer, they erased. They wanted the world to remember their mercy was rarer than gold. When the Khwarazmian capital burned, Genghis stood amid the ruins and said, "I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you." The words were carried by wind and fear alike. The city of Merv had once been a jewel of the Islamic world. Scholars, poets, and dreamers thrived behind its golden gates. But when the Mongols arrived, all of that turned to dust. Genghis ordered that every living soul be slain, men, women, and children. For days the killing never stopped. The screams faded only when there was no one left to scream. It's said that 700,000 people died in that single massacre. The Mongols counted corpses by the cartload. The sand drank deeply that year. When the Khan left Merv, the city ceased to exist. Not just in stone, in memory. Civilization itself trembled, for if Merv could fall, nowhere was safe. Samarkand, the heart of trade, the pulse of Central Asia, it glittered under the desert sun like a mirage. But the Mongols brought a different light, the glow of fire. Genghis surrounded the city with silence and death. Its defenders fought bravely, but the Mongols fought like gods of vengeance. The city fell, and its beauty died with it. The Khan ordered the artisans spared, not for mercy, but for utility. They would build his empire's next monuments of war. When the flames subsided, Samarkand was nothing more than ash on the wind. The Silk Road that once carried silk and spices now carried only whispers of terror. In Reshaped, a Mongol general was slain by a rebel. His widow demanded vengeance, and Genghis granted it. What followed was beyond human comprehension. Every living being in the city was exterminated. The streets ran with blood thick as mud. They say dogs and cats were killed too, so none would mourn the dead. For days the city burned, and when the smoke cleared, nothing living remained. The widow, satisfied, returned to camp. That single act of rage became legend, proof that the Mongols didn't just kill for conquest. They killed for message. Resistance meant extinction. Baghdad, the crown jewel of knowledge, home to scholars and poets. But in 1258, Hulagu Khan, Genghis's grandson, arrived at its gates. The caliph refused to surrender. That was the end. For 7 days, Baghdad was drowned in fire and blood. Libraries were hurled into the Tigris River until its waters turned black with ink. 2 million souls perished. The House of Wisdom, 5,000 years of civilization, was gone forever. Humanity wept, but the Mongols did not. To them, it was just another conquest. To the world, it was the death of enlightenment. By the mid-13th century, the Mongols had become a myth wrapped in flesh. Their name alone could empty cities. Priests whispered their coming was the apocalypse foretold. Kings prayed to gods they had long forgotten. Europe trembled. From Poland to Hungary, rumors spread faster than armies. The horsemen of the end, they called them. No wall, no kingdom, no prayer could stop the storm. Yet behind the terror was precision. The Mongols moved like a single mind, guided by cold calculation. It wasn't madness. It was mastery. Genghis's warriors rode under an open sky that seemed to watch them in awe. Every campaign, every conquest, was part of his grand vision, a world united under one rule. His rule, the sky itself, eternal and boundless, was his only superior. He declared himself the son of the eternal sky. To defy him was to defy heaven. And when he rode into battle, his enemies saw not men, but destiny itself. Every arrow loosed was a whisper from heaven. Every scream a hymn of conquest. Under the eternal sky, the world bent to his will. For all his bloodshed, Genghis was not chaos. He ruled by law, the yasa, a code of justice, loyalty, and discipline. It punished betrayal, rewarded merit, and demanded unity. The empire thrived not just by fear, but by order. Merchants traveled safely, roads were built, and borders opened. The Mongols, once destroyers, became guardians of trade. Gold and silk flowed where blood once did. Yet even order could not wash away the rivers of death. The empire's foundations were soaked in it. In 1227, the great conqueror fell, not by sword, but by time. His death was kept secret, his body buried in an unknown grave, hidden from the world he had conquered. The steppe mourned, the earth itself seemed to grow silent, but death could not end his empire. His sons and grandsons inherited his fury. They carried his name like fire, burning from China to Europe. The Khan was gone, but his storm still raged. After his death, the Mongol Empire split into 4 great khanates, each one powerful, each one hungry. Brothers turned against brothers, ambition poisoning bloodlines. The unity Genghis built began to crack, but even in division, their shadow loomed large. They conquered Russia, Persia, and China once more. The Mongols ruled the largest empire in history, even as it began to decay from within. Their swords still gleamed, but their hearts grew heavy with greed. The age of fire began to fade. As centuries passed, the Mongol flame dimmed, but its scars remained etched into the earth. Cities never rebuilt. Cultures never recovered. Rivers still whispered their names. Yet history remembers them not only as destroyers, but as bridges between worlds. They connected east and west, created trade routes, and spread knowledge, even as they destroyed it. The paradox of power was complete. The Mongols were both the end and the beginning, a storm that cleared the path for a new dawn. The story of the Mongols is the story of humanity itself, creation and destruction entwined. They burned libraries, but also spread ideas. They killed millions, but united continents. They destroyed civilizations, but built the foundations of global trade. 5,000 years of civilization turned to ash, yet from that ash rose a connected world. Their shadow still stretches across our maps, our languages, our blood, and as the wind howls across the Mongolian steppe even today, it carries one haunting truth. Empires rise, empires fall, but legends never die.